Sometimes the loudest message a woman sends is silence, and most men misunderstand it completely. They think silence means she's losing interest, playing games, or slowly drifting away. But the truth is more complicated than that, because female silence is rarely empty. It's usually full of emotion, observation, and quiet evaluation. And if you don't understand what's happening in that silence, you'll react in a way that slowly destroys the attraction you're trying so hard to protect. Let me ask you something honestly. Have you ever noticed how a woman can suddenly become quiet after a deep conversation, an argument, or even after a moment that felt intimate and real? One day she's warm, engaged, responsive. The next day her messages become shorter, her tone changes, the energy shifts, and in that moment most men start doing the exact thing that pushes her further away. They chase clarity, they chase reassurance, they chase the comfort of knowing everything is still okay. I understand why. A man's mind naturally wants resolution, but female silence often isn't a request for explanation. It's a moment of emotional processing. Listen carefully to this part, because most men will never admit it. Silence triggers a deep fear in the male nervous system. It touches something primitive inside you. The fear of losing connection, the fear of rejection, the fear that you somehow said the wrong thing or weren't enough. And when that fear activates, the instinct is to close the distance as quickly as possible. More messages, more explanations, more emotional pressure. But here's the hidden part most men don't realize. When a woman becomes quiet, she is often watching how you handle uncertainty. Not because she's testing you in a manipulative way, but because emotional stability is one of the deepest signals of masculine strength. Think about the last time this happened to you. The conversation slowed down. The responses became delayed. That strange tension started growing in your chest. Your mind began filling the silence with stories. Maybe she's losing attraction. Maybe she met someone else. Maybe she's disappointed in me. And the more those thoughts build, the more your behavior starts to change. Your words carry a subtle anxiety. Your tone becomes slightly more eager, slightly more careful. And even if you don't say it directly, she can feel that emotional shift. Women are incredibly sensitive to emotional energy, not just what you say, but the state you're in when you say it. What many men fail to see is that silence is often a moment where she's recalibrating her emotions. Women experience attraction and connection through waves of feeling. Sometimes those waves pull them closer. Sometimes they create space so she can understand what she's feeling. During that quiet space, she's observing something important. She's watching whether your presence feels grounded or needy, whether your energy stays steady or becomes reactive. This doesn't mean you must become cold or distant. That's another mistake men make. They hear advice about pulling back and suddenly try to act like they don't care. But emotional strength isn't indifference. It's calmness under uncertainty. It's the ability to remain relaxed even when you don't have immediate answers. I'm telling you this man to man. The most attractive thing you can communicate in moments like this isn't clever words. It's emotional steadiness. When you continue living your life, focusing on your work, your purpose, your routines, something subtle happens, the pressure disappears, the emotional space becomes safe again, and often, without forcing anything, she naturally moves back toward connection. There's another layer here most men overlook. Silence also reveals something about you. It shows how comfortable you are with your own company. A man who panics in silence is usually a man who depends too heavily on external validation, but a man who can sit calmly inside that quiet space, who doesn't rush to fill every emotional gap, communicates something powerful without saying a word. And here's the strange paradox. The less you fight the silence, the less threatening it becomes. Instead of interpreting it as rejection, you begin to see it as part of the natural rhythm between two people learning each other's emotional language. I know what you're feeling if you've been through this before. That uncomfortable tension in your chest, that late night overthinking, that urge to send one more message just to check if everything is okay. Every man has felt that at some point. But maturity in relationships comes when you stop reacting to every emotional fluctuation and start understanding the deeper patterns underneath. Because the hidden side of female silence isn't cruelty or manipulation. Most of the time, it's simply a moment where she's feeling something she hasn't put into words yet. And the way you respond to that quiet moment tells her more about your character than anything you could say. So the next time silence appears, don't rush to fight it. Let it breathe. Let it exist without panic. Sometimes the strongest thing a man can offer in a relationship is the calm presence of someone who isn't afraid of the quiet.